Hello and welcome to the Homeversity podcast brought to you by Residential Equity Partners. My name is Michael Ashley. I'm the founder of Residential Equity Partners, and I'm joined here today by Stephen Cavalcanti. He's one of our managing members.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thrilled to be with you, Michael.
I'm thrilled to be with you, too. We're with each other every day, though. Let's not act like we're not together every day. But you know what? At the end of the day, Stephen, it's like, I think about it, what a journey. It's been 11 years since I founded this business.
Yep.
We've done more than $1 billion in transactions. And it's like, I look at it and I'm like, 2,600 families we've been able to help over the time period.
Some gray hair.
A lot of gray. Not you, though. For some reason, I have all the gray hair. I don't know why that is. But it's been quite the journey. And you know what? Like, I think this podcast is really, really important because there are a lot of people who are going to be listening to this who are getting ready to make a decision that's life-changing.
Absolutely.
You know, you agree?
Yo, absolutely.
I mean, we talk to these people all the time. We talk to people who are facing foreclosure, people who have recently inherited a property. You know, I talk to people who recently inherited a property, and I say, you know what? Your mom and your pop, they worked hard for that inheritance for you.
Absolutely. The American dream.
You need to maximize that inheritance, and people go about things like the traditional way, like the regular way. And I say, why would you do that when we can get you so much more money for your inheritance? Or I talk to people who are in foreclosure who are thinking, I'm giving up. Literally, they're giving up, and I'm thinking, why? Why are you giving up? And I realize there's not enough information out there.
Yeah.
There's just not enough information. And we were kind of talking behind the scenes, and that's part of the biggest problem is that I think there's not enough information made available to people who need it.
Yep.
And the information that's out there, there's so much information and there's so much I hate to use this term, but it's true. There's so much misinformation and, quote, fake news when it comes to this because you have so many people out there who just they're in it for themselves. And you know what? Look, we've got a great business. We're in it to make money just like
Absolutely.
Everybody else is. But at the end of the day, we're A+ rated for a reason with the Better Business Bureau. You're talking about a company that, I mean, like, I think about it. We've got 500 reviews and 0 complaints. You know how hard that is? I dare any company in any industry to have 500 Better Business Bureau reviews. Better Business Bureau, not Google. Anybody could do Google. Better Business Bureau, completely 100% verified, 500 reviews and 0 complaints.
And I take that serious, you know, and I take a lot of pride in that because when you actually read these reviews, you can really visualize the stories from these clients, and the results are life-changing to them. You know, we're not dealing with somebody who's selling a pair of shoes or making a decision about life insurance. You know, we're dealing with somebody who's losing their property, who's making one of the most important financial decisions that they are going to be making in their life at the time.
Right. But the thing is, maybe they're not losing their property. Maybe
True.
They think they're losing their property. You know, so I think the name of the game here is we've got to get the right information to the right people at the right time because what we have to offer is critical compared to kind of what's out there.
So, you know, control is a big deal. And what we see quite often is because we deal in an industry where people are vulnerable, right, and they're in a very difficult situation, there's a lot of predators. And people get called 10 times a day. They do not know who to trust. And typically it's from somebody who's really just self-serving in their MOs and their motives, right?
You know, we should address self-serving. Self-serving means that they just care about themselves.
That's
now,
correct.
It doesn't mean that you can't be serving the homeowner and serving yourself.
Absolutely.
Which most of these, like with us, we're in it to win it. We're not doing this for free.
No. But the difference is we could help them keep their property or sell it, and they deserve to know exactly the options that exist.
100%.
And they're not hearing it, Michael. They're not hearing it on the street. They're not hearing it from the 20 people that call, because I'll tell you this, almost every single time I speak with a homeowner, they had no idea about the options that were available that we can provide.
Yeah, or sometimes I speak to these people, it's not even just the options, the unbelievably ridiculous promises
Yes.
that these guys who don't care. See, the thing about us is we're in business 11 years. We're A+ rated, the Better Business Bureau. We've got 500 reviews, right?
Help thousands of homeowners cure
Okay, all I'm saying
foreclosure.
is, how many complaints do we have?
Zero.
Zero, okay. We have something to lose if we, God forbid, ever tried, which we would never do, to mislead a client.
Correct. It's
We
not
would
worth
be
it.
screwed. It's not worth one
No.
complaint. We don't want, you know how nice it is to say, we have no complaints in 11
Yep.
years, and we've done 2,600 transactions and saved $1 billion for
Right.
homeowners?
Well, that's what happens when you're not desperate.
Exactly.
When you're not desperate, you don't have to do desperate things. So we can make sure it's a win-win for the homeowner so that they get the outcome they deserve, because their property is more important to them than it is us. And look, we're here to make money,
100%.
of course, but we understand that this is their one property, while it will be one of many.
For
that-
hours every month.
Exactly.
And I think it's important that people know, like, don't suffer from that disqualification disease.
Right.
Don't disqualify yourself from being able to be helped.
Right.
Don't, like you have nothing to lose by just calling us and telling us what you want. I mean, that's basically what you have to do. I mean, think
10,
about
15
it.
minutes. 10, 15 minutes, tops.
Tell us what you want.
Yep.
We're going to do an analysis and figure out if we can get you there. And let me tell you, sometimes people call and they want a lot. And it's like, what? We're going to try and do the best we can. We'll have to see. And then we go look at their case. We have the law firm do a review. We're like, hey, we may be able to actually get you what you want. Like,
Right.
no, God. I mean,
Yep.
like, because at the end of the day, if the lender has a problem,
They have it.
you got an opportunity. Lender
leverage.
problem, your opportunity. Whether you want to keep or sell your house. Okay, that works both ways. So, again, I think it's important that people know that don't disqualify yourself automatically. No matter what your situation is, don't be afraid to just call and ask. Because the only way you lose is if you don't call, and that's the truth.
Right. Let's talk about people keeping their house.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
I have to tell you, obviously, you know this, being involved in the industry, that there's a heavy percentage of the homeowners that we speak with, right, that we meet with and advise, that want to keep their house. And what I see quite often is they lack information,
Yeah.
and they're not aware of the, how much is owed to the property.
I think there's two categories of those people, right? I think one category is people who lack information. They, in other words, they look at their unpaid principal balance and they think that's what they owe,
Correct.
right? And they don't know actually how to actually handle it. And I think there's the other side of it, which I appreciate and understand, which is the emotional attachment, because it's their home. It's not just a house.
Absolutely.
And people are emotionally attached. And sometimes you got to cross that bridge. Like, you got to be able to say, look, here, this is what you owe on your property. Like, let's just face it head on, right? And based upon what you owe, here are your options if you want to keep your house.
Correct. And that doesn't happen. They don't, and I know this because every time we do this, it's eye-opening. And they don't know how much they owe, and they don't know the path towards keeping. And so when we discuss...
And maybe
let's-
even keeping with equity.
Right.
Maybe
Through a settlement.
Through a settlement, they all of a sudden they get to keep
Because-
their house with equity in it.
Correct. And all they think of is a loan modification, and they
Which
don't
is-
realize that there's other options that are better for them, where they can get a discounted settlement.
Can we talk about this house in Whitestone that this week? This house is a beautiful house. It's a family house. The guy inherited it.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to use specific names, but I'll have him on the show next time.
Yep.
Okay. Because it's just finishing up this week. He owed $800,000 on this house. It's a beautiful house. He wanted to keep it. He's got a $350,000 settlement now. He's keeping the house with a $350,000 loan balance instead of an $800,000 loan balance. So you take a situation like that, but he could have gone to somebody who said, let's do a loan modification for you.
Right.
What does that really mean? You're going to take an $800,000 loan, restructure it into payments
And pay back every penny
of
that
everything that you didn't
missed.
pay, or
Right.
whoever you inherited the property from didn't pay. You're going to sign for paying everything back with interest on interest. And you get the pleasure of living in the house for 30 years.
Right.
And at the end, when you go to sell it, you're going to owe us more than it's worth.
Right.
It's, for me, most people just don't get to see that. And I think it's important.
Yeah. Look, loan modifications can be appropriate for the client
agree.
that has a healthy, positive equity position.
If they want, even if they're upside down and they say, you know what, my kids want to stay here.
Right. They understand the
They
decision they're
understand the
making
decision they're
financially.
Right. As long as I feel comfortable, as long as and I know you do this and I do this, as long as we explain to the homeowners, this is what you owe, this is where you are, the law firm will get you a loan
Correct.
modification and for free, and it'll cost you nothing, right? But this is what you're getting yourself into. Are you cool with that? And a lot of times people are like, yes, then fine. Get a loan modification and go on. And we tell them, if down the road you're not happy,
Right.
come back.
And don't forget, I mean, loan modifications nowadays are a little bit different than they were 2 years ago and even 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Because 6, 7 years ago, modifications, we used to be able to get principal amounts reduced or the total amount reduced, where now banks aren't doing that. And
Depends. Sometimes they will. Sometimes
In a modification.
if after a lender audit they find a problem with the case, sometimes you can get that done.
Okay.
That's something to keep on the table.
And, you know, in a modification, the interest rates relative to where they were are higher. So
Yeah.
we're seeing folks that had a 2% modification have to be bumped up to a 6% modification. And when they owe so much money on the property, the payments just are not affordable.
Yeah.
So we always discuss a backup plan so that the bank doesn't just take the house and sell it for them.
Well, that's one thing that can never happen.
Exactly.
Can never happen.
Exactly. And that provides real peace of mind to somebody that's in a very difficult situation and needs to have a plan A, but also a backup plan in the event the bank denies the modification or approves it with a payment that's just not affordable or attainable long term.
Agreed. I mean, I think, again, if somebody wants to keep their house because either financially it makes sense or, quite honestly, financially it doesn't make sense, but they're emotionally attached to it and they have a right to be because it's their home, cool. We'll do whatever we can do to work with them. I mean, is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But I just think making an informed decision is the only way to make a decision.
Correct.
You know, and unfortunately, we have too much misinformation
Right.
out there, and that's part of the problem. So I think, again, for people watching this, if you're thinking about keeping your house and you want to figure out a way to do that, call Steven, call me. You pick up the phone and give us a call, and let's sit down. Let's see if we can create a plan for that, you know, to make that happen for you. And let's tell you about all your other options too. Nothing wrong with options.
No.
Right? Nothing wrong with options.
Nope.
At the end of the day, you know, sometimes the menu's too small, sometimes the menu's too big.
That's right.
Right? So I think we got the perfect menu for people that find themselves in trouble with their houses. So.